What your testicle size really says about your health. Have you ever stood in front of the mirror, maybe after a shower, and caught yourself wondering if things down there still look the same as they used to? I mean, it's not the sort of thing we usually bring up over coffee or at family gatherings. But let's be honest. When you reach a certain age, you start noticing changes in all parts of your body. Your skin, your hair, your energy levels, and yes, even your testicles. And you might ask yourself, is this normal? Or could it mean something important about my health? Now, I know it might feel a little awkward or even silly to think about, but let me reassure you, you're not alone in wondering about these things. In fact, understanding the size and shape of your testicles can actually give you valuable clues about what's happening inside your body. It's kind of like a dashboard light in your car. When that light comes on, it's not just decoration, it's trying to tell you something. The same goes for your body. Now here's a thought you might relate to. You know how as we age, things like our grip strength or balance can change slowly and quietly, until one day we notice, hey, I'm not as steady as I used to be. Testicle size changes can be a bit like that too. Subtle at first, easy to overlook, until something makes us pay attention. Today we're going to have a real friendly conversation about exactly what your testicle size might be telling you about your health. And no, you don't need a medical degree to understand it. We'll keep it simple, straightforward, and most importantly, practical. By the end of our chat, you'll feel more confident and informed about what to look out for and when it might be time to check in with your doctor. So, let's get into it. First things first. Why does testicle size matter in the first place? Well, believe it or not, those two small organs have some pretty big responsibilities. They're not just about reproduction, although that's certainly part of it. They're also essential for producing testosterone, the hormone that helps keep your bones strong, your muscles firm, and yes, even your mood steady. As we get older, testosterone levels naturally decrease, but the size of your testicles can sometimes offer hints about how well they're still doing their job. One common thing many men notice after 60 is a gradual shrinking of the testicles. And while that can be completely normal as testosterone levels dip with age, it's not something you want to ignore completely. You see, smaller testicles can sometimes be a sign of conditions like hypogonadism, where the body doesn't produce enough testosterone. And that can affect more than just your physical health. You might feel more tired, notice muscle loss, or even experience mood changes like irritability or feeling down. Imagine for a moment getting out of bed and feeling more sluggish than usual. Not because you didn't sleep well, but because your body's hormone engine is running low. It's a quiet kind of fatigue that creeps in, affecting how much you enjoy your morning walk, or how steady you feel going up the stairs. And all of that could be connected to something as simple as the size of your testicles. That's why paying attention matters. But it's not just smaller size we should be mindful of. Sometimes testicles can appear larger than usual, and while that might seem like a good thing, it can actually be a red flag too. Conditions like varicocele, where the veins inside the scrotum become enlarged, can cause the testicles to swell. This isn't usually painful, but it's something that shouldn't be ignored. Think of it like a pipe in your house developing a bulge. You wouldn't wait around for it to burst. You'd want to get it checked before any real damage is done. You might wonder, well, how do I even know if things have changed down there? That's a fair question. Life gets busy. But I always say, just like we keep an eye on our blood pressure or our blood sugar, we should give a little attention to everything, including what's below the belt. You don't have to make a big deal out of it. Once a month or so, when you're getting dressed or showering, just take a moment to observe. Are things looking about the same as they always have? Is there any swelling, tenderness, or sudden change in size or shape? I know some folks might feel embarrassed even thinking about checking themselves like that. But let me remind you, there's no shame in taking care of your health. It's just another part of knowing your body, the same way you'd notice if your skin had a new spot, or if your eyesight seemed a little fuzzier than usual. And trust me, your doctor has seen it all. Bringing up concerns about testicle size or changes isn't going to shock them. It's part of their job to help you stay healthy. And speaking of seeing a doctor, here's another important point. If you notice a sudden change in testicle size, either bigger or smaller, that happens quickly rather than slowly over time, that's definitely something to get checked out sooner rather than later. Sudden changes can sometimes be linked to more serious conditions, and it's always better to know early than to wait and wonder. Before we move on, I want to mention one more thing. It's not all about size alone. Texture and consistency matter too. If your testicle feels unusually firm or lumpy, like there's a hard spot that wasn't there before, that's another sign to call your healthcare provider. It doesn't automatically mean something serious is going on, but again, knowledge is power. Now, I don't want this to feel overwhelming. The key here is just staying aware, staying informed, and not letting things slip by unnoticed. It's really about giving yourself the same care and attention you'd give to anything important in your life. Whether that's your car, your garden, or your favorite hobby, your health deserves that same kind of thoughtful care. Now that we've opened up this conversation and gotten comfortable with the idea that testicle size can offer important clues about our health, let's keep going and talk a little deeper about exactly what different sizes might indicate. So, we've gotten comfortable talking about why keeping an eye on testicle size matters as we get older, and now I'd like to walk you through some of the specific things that different sizes might actually mean for your health. Let's start by talking about smaller than average testicles. You might have noticed over time a subtle shrinking or even a softer feel. Now, that alone doesn't mean there's an emergency, but understanding what might be behind it can really help you stay ahead of any possible issues. One common reason testicles shrink as we age is something called low testosterone, or as the doctors call it, hypogonadism. It's a bit of a big word, but it simply means your body isn't making as much testosterone as it used to. Now you might be wondering, well, how would I even notice that? Besides a change in size, you might feel more tired, find that your muscles aren't as firm, or even notice your interest in certain things, like physical activity or intimacy, just isn't quite the same. Here's a story that might sound familiar. A friend of mine, a man in his early 70s, mentioned he felt like his energy was always running low. He wasn't sleeping badly, he wasn't eating terribly, but he just didn't feel like himself. After getting some routine checks done, it turned out his testosterone levels were lower than they should have been. And you know what? It was affecting more than just his mood. His bones were actually getting weaker too. That's because testosterone helps keep our bones dense and strong, even as we get older. So, smaller testicles might be your body's quiet signal to say, hey, something's off. It's not about panicking, it's about listening. If you notice those kinds of changes, there are treatments available, and many men find real improvement after addressing it. Sometimes it's as simple as lifestyle adjustments, like exercise and nutrition, but there are medical options as well. Your doctor can guide you through all of that. Now, on the other side of things, let's talk about larger than normal testicles or sudden swelling. This isn't something people always expect, but it happens more often than you'd think. One condition that can cause testicles to swell is called varicocele. Imagine the veins inside your scrotum, where the testicles are, becoming enlarged, almost like varicose veins in your legs. It's not usually painful, but it can make one side seem noticeably bigger than the other. Here's the thing. Varicocele is fairly common, especially in younger men, but it can continue to affect us as we age. And while it's not always dangerous, it can affect things like testosterone production, or even cause discomfort over time. What's important is paying attention if there's a clear size difference between one testicle and the other. A little bit of natural difference is okay. Most of us aren't perfectly symmetrical. But a sudden or large change is worth checking out. There's also the possibility of something more serious, though it's rare. Testicular cancer can show up as a firm lump or swelling that doesn't go away. I know, it's not the kind of thing anyone likes to think about. But the good news is that if it's caught early, it's one of the most treatable forms of cancer out there. That's why that once-a-month self-check I mentioned earlier really matters. It only takes a minute, but it could make a world of difference. You might wonder if there are other reasons your testicles could change size. And the answer is yes, there are. For instance, conditions like hydrocele or epididymitis can also cause swelling. Hydrocele is when fluid builds up around the testicle, making it look larger. Epididymitis is an inflammation that can cause swelling and even tenderness. Both of these conditions are treatable with the help of your doctor, so again, noticing changes early is key. Another thing to keep in mind is that lifestyle factors can play a role too. Things like heavy alcohol use, smoking, or carrying a lot of extra weight around your midsection can all have an effect on hormone levels, and by extension, your testicle health. It's all connected. Your body is like a finely tuned machine, and when one part starts to change, it often means there are adjustments to be made elsewhere. For example, carrying too much weight, especially around the belly, can increase estrogen levels in men, which in turn can affect testosterone production and lead to things like smaller testicles. It's one of those sneaky effects that many folks don't even realize is happening until they start paying closer attention. Now, before you get the idea that you need to be checking yourself every day or worrying constantly, let me just say this. Balance is important. It's not about living in fear. It's about living with awareness. Treat it like you would checking your blood pressure or keeping an eye on your cholesterol. Regular check-ins, just enough to stay informed without letting it take over your thoughts. And here's a little encouragement for you. The fact that you're watching this video and taking an interest in your health already puts you ahead of the game. A lot of folks don't take the time to learn about these things until there's a real problem. But knowledge really is power, especially when it comes to staying healthy as we age. One last thought before we keep moving forward. Make sure that if you do notice a change in size, whether smaller or larger, you write it down or mention it at your next checkup. Sometimes in the middle of a doctor's appointment, we get so focused on blood tests or other questions that we forget to bring up things like this. But your doctor will appreciate that you're being proactive. It helps them take better care of you when they have all the information. So, as we continue, let's keep this open and easygoing attitude. There's more to explore when it comes to understanding the messages your body sends, and your testicle size is just one part of the bigger picture. Now that we've covered what smaller or larger testicle size can mean for your health, let's talk about how to take practical, steady steps to stay on top of it all. I know that as we get older, managing our health can sometimes feel like keeping track of too many things at once. Blood pressure, cholesterol, medications, appointments. It can get overwhelming. But when it comes to looking after your testicular health, it really comes down to a few simple habits that fit right into your normal routine. First and most importantly, make self-checks a part of your monthly rhythm. You don't need a fancy technique or medical training. Just use your hands and pay attention to how things feel and look. The best time to do this is right after a warm shower, when the skin is relaxed and it's easier to notice any changes. Gently roll each testicle between your thumb and fingers. What you're feeling for is anything unusual, like a lump, a firmer spot, or swelling that wasn't there before. And remember, it's normal for one testicle to hang a little lower or feel slightly different than the other. It's those new or sudden changes that deserve your attention. Now, if doing this sounds uncomfortable or unfamiliar, think of it like checking your car's tires or making sure the oil light isn't on. It's a quick little routine that gives you peace of mind. And once you get into the habit, it won't feel awkward or strange. It'll just feel like another way you're looking out for yourself. Another key habit is keeping your overall health in good balance. That means focusing on things like maintaining a healthy weight, getting regular exercise, and eating nutritious foods. You might be surprised how much of an impact these everyday choices have on hormone health and testicular function. For instance, carrying extra weight around your middle can lead to lower testosterone levels, as I mentioned earlier. And staying active, even just a brisk walk every day, can help keep your hormones balanced and your body functioning the way it should. One gentleman I know, in his late 60s, started doing light yoga and walking daily, not to lose weight, but just to stay limber. Over time, he noticed he felt more energetic, slept better, and even felt more confident. These small daily habits add up, not just in how you feel, but in how your body functions, including the quieter things you might not think about as often, like testicular health. It's also worth touching on something that doesn't get talked about much: stress. Chronic stress can affect testosterone production, which in turn can influence testicle size and function. And we all know that life doesn't stop throwing curveballs just because we've hit our 60s or 70s. Whether it's family matters, financial concerns, or health issues, stress can sneak into our daily lives and quietly wear us down. Finding ways to manage that stress is just as important as any other health habit. Whether it's through prayer, meditation, spending time in nature, or simply having a good laugh with friends, those small moments of calm help your entire body, including your hormonal health, stay steady. I always say, taking a deep breath when things feel overwhelming is a health habit too. Now there's another piece to this puzzle, and that's staying connected with your healthcare provider. As we age, regular checkups become even more important. And I know, sometimes those appointments can feel like more hassle than they're worth, especially if you're feeling fine. But those visits are about catching things early. Things like low testosterone, varicocele, or other testicular health concerns before they turn into bigger problems. It's helpful to make a little list before you go in. Jot down anything you've noticed: changes in testicle size, tenderness, a new feeling of fatigue, anything that seems off. That way, when you're sitting in the exam room and the doctor asks, "How have you been feeling?" you're ready with your answers. They appreciate it when patients come in prepared, and it makes for a better, more thorough checkup. And let me share a little reassurance here. Bringing up concerns about testicle size or health with your doctor doesn't have to be embarrassing. Healthcare professionals are trained to handle all kinds of sensitive topics with respect and care. You won't surprise them. In fact, they'll likely be glad you're taking such good care of yourself. As we bring this conversation to a close, I really want to emphasize something important. Paying attention to your testicle size isn't about vanity or worrying over every little detail. It's about being proactive, about listening to your body, and about giving yourself the same attention and care you'd offer to your loved ones. Small changes, like adding self-checks to your routine, keeping up with healthy habits, and staying in touch with your doctor, can make a big difference in your quality of life. And it's never too late to start paying closer attention. Whether you're 60, 70, or beyond, taking these steps helps you stay independent, energetic, and confident in your own skin. I hope this chat today has helped you feel more informed and empowered. Sometimes the topics that don't get talked about enough are the ones that matter the most. And as always, I'd love to hear from you. If you've experienced changes or have any questions about what we've discussed, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. You're not alone, and your story could help someone else feel a little braver about looking after their own health. If you found this video helpful, I'd be grateful if you gave it a like and subscribe to the channel. We've got plenty more easy-to-follow health tips and real conversations just like this one, all aimed at helping you live your best life at any age. Remember, looking after yourself is one of the greatest gifts you can give to yourself and those around you. Here's to living with confidence, staying curious, and taking good care of the amazing body you've carried through all these years. Until next time, take care and stay well.